All right, y'all, I ain't got a lot of time. I'm gonna do a quick video here. It's gonna be dark any minute, but I've been doing a lot of thinking on this, the last couple days, and I think there's something that a lot of us, we don't really understand and realize about this newer generation and the younger kids and people in general. Not everybody is like you and me. Everybody has not been taught common sense, logical stuff, from their parents or their grandparents or their family. Not a lot of people understand a lot of things, and you can't really blame other people too much for the problems that we have as people, because it comes down really to a personal issue, a personal thing. It's always, even for me, when I get upset or something, right away, I want to start blaming everyone but myself all the time. And what I see is, how can I say this? It's a lot deeper than what we think that it really is. This whole thing, this whole life ordeal. There's too many people that they don't understand that this person is acting a certain way for some reason. It's either because they're ignorant of what they're doing, or they're going through something and they don't know how to control their actions. It all comes down to a knowledge thing. If you've been there and you've done it and you experienced a lot of things in life, you won't do a lot of the things that you were doing before because you did them over and over and over again. And then you'll know not to get into certain stuff. Certain stuff you'll know what to stay away from. You won't just dive into a situation. You just won't start pointing fingers and blaming everyone or saying, hey, what's wrong with this kid? Because look what these kids have in this generation. They were brought up with phones and internet and computers. Like, there's really some kids and some people and some parents that they don't know common sense, logical stuff. They really don't. And that's why I'm telling you, just be aware of how you talk and interact with people, because most of the time they probably don't know. You know what I mean? They don't know. And don't get me wrong, there's some times where I just want to go ape shit on a lot of people and how they are. But then I think and say, it has nothing to really do with me, but how can I tell this person something without offending them or making it seem like I'm better than them? And I'm telling them, hey, listen, I got this all figured out. And, you don't. Which, that ain't how I think. But that's how it comes across with a lot of these things. It's always this issue with people think that someone's better or less than. Or someone has it better or doesn't have it better. And it all goes back to the judging and judgment thing that I have been talking about with y'all on here for a long time. And I came out here, it's not that warm. My room is like 80 degrees and it's kind of chilly out here. I thought it was hot. but it's not. So I'm going back. I'm about to get into my car for a second. But anyway, I'm going to finish this up. I'm not going to be on here long. But we have to realize that you really can't blame most people for what they don't know. I mean, it sounds crazy and it sounds like, oh, well, you have to tell people about their shit sometimes and you have to criticize people sometimes. You know, criticism is not a bad thing. Criticism and failing at what you are doing is the best thing you can do. Keep failing. Keep making mistakes in what you do, because it's gonna get you along the path of life. That's why so many people don't do nothing, because they're scared to fail. They're in fear of this mistake and failure thing. It doesn't exist. It's only in your own mind that you thought that you failed, or you thought that you didn't do enough, or you messed up, or you didn't do this thing right, or it didn't seem this way to this group of people. It's all a personal thing. It all comes down to you thinking that you failed, or letting fear control what, you think is what has happened, but it really hasn't. It's just you let fear get in the way. That's all that really happens in that ordeal. Yeah, and I'm not going to be on here long, but I had to get out of the car. It's a little chilly out, so. But I realize the more that I want to blame people and I want to talk about this younger generation and other people, it doesn't have to be the young people necessarily, or, kids or anything like that. It's everyone, really, but this generation of people. I'm talking about all people. Look what we're doing all the time. We're on a phone. We're on the internet. There's no communication no more. It really comes down to a communication thing, and have your parents or your relatives or family or the friends you have been around, were they logical? Have they spoke logic and common sense and things that will get you through your day, and the most, basic stuff? A lot of people have not got that. This is what we need to remember. There's so many people out here that they don't know basic, logical, common sense, everyday things that you and I do know, because we lived through it and we went through certain things. I don't know where you're at in your life. I never know where anybody is. I know where I'm at. It's very hard for me to judge someone, or me to point the finger, or for me to say this thing is right and that thing is wrong. You get to this point where, for me, I almost can't even do it anymore. Because really, it comes down to me. It comes down to a personal, individual thing. And this is all that I talk about on here. I talk about the individual. I'm not on here to prove something to groups of people or represent a big, huge group. Even though in the future it might seem as though my channel is like a group thing, or people are involved and all that, but it's really not that. It comes down to each one of you. Who are you? What do you do? What do you know? I'm past this whole biting off of each other and stealing ideas from each other and using things that people have already done before. Let's make something new, even in the bad times, or the times where it's raining or you're going through some shit. Do something different and new. This is what I'm always telling myself all the time. I'm always telling myself, do something that not everyone else is doing, but yet realize if the person that you're looking at and judging and saying something in your head, which I do, I look at people and I judge them, but I don't say it out loud. I do it in my own head. But yet I say, well, maybe this person hasn't been there yet, or maybe this person hasn't experienced that thing, or hasn't went through that, or doesn't know something. You see, this is where the dangers lie in just judging a book by its cover and labeling people and saying things that they are that you don't even know what they necessarily are. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they did in their life. You don't know what they've seen, what they spoke about, what their family has told them. You know, whether they're really brainwashed and indoctrinated or they're just a little bit brainwashed and indoctrinated. It's just constantly be aware. Be aware of the things you're saying and how you're approaching people and how you're putting a label and a stamp on them, because this label and stamp thing is very dangerous. I keep talking about this. It can get you in so much trouble, but yet it's so easy to do. You see, it's so easy for us to just say, I don't like this person because of how their hair is, or how they're dressed, or what they're wearing, or what they're saying, or how they are. You know, you could just get annoyed with somebody by how they talk, or how they look, or the scent of when they walk by you and you smell something. It's so easy for our brains to get agitated and to start thinking stuff. And I'm telling you, this thing is almost like your enemy. Your brain is almost like your enemy and your best friend. It's something, but it's nothing. Just like my channel, somebody but nobody. Your brain is the same way. It can get you in trouble, yet it can save you out of situation. You can drown, or you can be rescued. It's so many things in and of itself and in between the lines that most people don't see, because they're too one-sided with all these issues and with all these things in life. And this is what I preach, is this message. Now, I don't want to call myself a preacher or say that I'm preaching, but my message is this. My message is exactly what the name of my channel is. That's my message all the time. I don't have to put on a show or wear a mask to do this thing. And that's great. And that's what I want and need for every one of you that watch, is the same exact thing. To just, if you're feeling shitty, say I'm feeling shitty. If you have something on your mind, speak about it. You see, we let the fear, the judgments, and the labels hold us back from doing the most simple things. And this is why so many of us, I'm going to end it with this. I don't mean to use the black pill analogy, but a lot of us are so black pilled because we're letting fear run our lives. We're letting this judgment and labeling things run our life. And once you see that for what it is, yes, you will still have some of these, quote, black pill ideas. But I'm not all for the black pill. I am mostly for the black pill. And I'm mostly for that aspect of it. But see, I can't say that I'm fully for anything, because there's always the left and the right, the up, the down, the grass, the weeds, the water, the fire. There's always something, even in life, that is in between what we think that it really is. Nothing is never as it seems. Basically, that's what I'm trying to get across here, is nothing's as it ever seems. You think something in your head of someone, and then here you hear something completely different about them, and you judged them and labeled them before you even knew them, then you're like, oh my gosh, now I need to either say, hey, I'm sorry, I messed up. You don't have to go through that. You don't have to put yourself through that. You can just say, look, I don't know. When you have something you don't know, say, I don't know. You're never trying too hard or not trying at all. And I know this makes sense. I'm just reminding everyone, this will be my message all the time for years to come. And there's something in that. There's some kind of sustenance in that message. Because it's not a one-sided thing. It's not a one-sided message that's just saying, well, I'm this, so I don't have nothing else to do in my life. Well, I'm doing this thing, so I can't do this. I'm playing basketball, so I can't, hit a couple golf balls because I'm with the fellas on the basketball team. It's ridiculous. Like, you can play basketball and hit golf balls. You can draw, you can sing. You can do one genre of music and another genre of music. Like, we get so caught up on these labels and saying, oh, I'm a hip-hop artist. I'm a country artist. I'm a rock artist. No, I am an artist. I do art and I do everything. I don't just do one thing. So just don't get caught up on that. That's all I'm saying, is don't get caught up on that, because it's for immature, childish, ignorant people. But yet remind yourself, a lot of people don't know these simple little things that you and I may know. So just take that with you, resonate on that. SBN Resonate, the SBN Lifestyle, later on.